Hello, and welcome to our presentation on how to succeed in the Faculty of Science at the University of Manitoba. I would like to begin with a traditional territories acknowledgement. The University of Manitoba campuses are located on original lands of Anishinaabe, Ininiwak, Assininuwak, Dakota Oyate, and Dene, and on the national homeland of the Red River Métis. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories, we acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Good morning, my name is Paul, and I'll be your guide as we look at what we're going to cover in this presentation. So we're going to look at what the Faculty of Science is at the University of Manitoba, some professional programs that you may be targeting. We're looking at the first year planning guide and how to use that for planning your first year in our faculty. And more than a degree and supports for things that can help you along on your new academic journey at the U of M. So our faculty has 7 departments as listed below there, with biological sciences, chemistry, computer science, mathematics, microbiology, physics and astronomy, and statistics. And within those 7 departments, we have over 50 programs available. And we are the largest faculty on campus with over 6,500 students enrolled. And you might hear about some other programs, environmental science as an example, or animal science. Just because there's the word science in the title, it's not necessarily in the Faculty of Science, so those are other programs in other faculties on campus. So within the 7 departments we looked at earlier, we also have a number of interdisciplinary programs. These are programs that are offered by multiple departments. So we have biochemistry programs that's offered between the departments of chemistry and microbiology. We have data science offered with computer science, math, and statistics. And we have genetics, which is offered between biological sciences and microbiology. And then we also have some interdisciplinary programs offered with other faculties. So the first we have there is actuarial mathematics. That's offered between Asper School of Business and the Faculty of Science, and psychology, which is offered between the Faculty of Arts and Science. So with 50+ programs and just those 7 departments and interdisciplinary programs, how do we get to 50+ programs? Well, because they'll all fit into an honors degree, major degrees, a general degree, and then if you're going to add on a co-op or internship program. There is no cap on the number of students in each of our programs. As long as you meet the entrance requirements, you'll be admitted. Major and honors programs focus on a different science department. For example, doing a major in psychology or an honors in microbiology. The difference with an honors program is there's usually a research project, not a computer science where there's more upper level courses, but the honors is usually a more direct route if you're going to be targeting a graduate program such as a master's or a PhD in the future. And honors does require that you are a full-time student in the fall and winter terms. A major requires a minimal degree GPA of 2 or 2.5 in computer science. For honors, it needs to be a bit higher. It's a 3 or 3.75 if you're targeting an honors in psychology. And by a degree GPA, we are looking at every course that you take at the U of M. Repeated courses, it doesn't replace the grade, so every course that you ever take will go towards that degree GPA. And then we have the general degree, which isn't in a specific department. You get to use courses from all the departments, and students will often use it as a stepping stone for entry into other programs, such as medicine or education, law, So if you were admitted as a direct entry student to the Faculty of Science, for your first year, you're going to be in an undeclared major. This gives you the opportunity to explore all the majors and honors programs that science has to offer you. You can take, courses from different departments, different areas, and, get a chance to test drive because you probably have multiple interests and it's good to explore. And once you've completed the 24 to 30 credit hours, then you can declare your program if you meet those requirements. And many students change their minds, and that's all right. The average university student, we hear, changes their mind 3 times through their academic career. So if you're, thinking of one thing at the end of high school and then enter your first year, you're thinking of something else, that's definitely all right, and that's definitely normal. So we just mentioned education, medicine, law, some other professional programs students might be targeting. Some other ones include veterinary medicine, optometry, which are offered at other institutions. And then at the U of M, there's respiratory therapy, pharmacy, physician's assistant, physical therapy, dentistry, occupational therapy, nursing. So you might be targeting one of these, or perhaps something else, and a science degree can be a great foundation for preparing for any of these. Some of them you could also be targeting another degree at the U of M and just be taking the science courses as the prerequisites. For any program at the U of M, there would be an applicant information bulletin, which would give you all of the information on the courses that you'd require, how they're going to calculate GPA for admission, and some other requirements that might be there. And I would also encourage, any student I meet that's targeting professional program as entry isn't guaranteed. We encourage parallel planning so that something that your prereqs can fit into another degree, often a science degree, and think of some plan B careers. So if you don't get into your professional program of choice, then you have a degree to then pursue other interests and other careers. So for all our first year students, we highly recommend that you take a look at the first year planning guide. You're going to hear a lot of jargon when you first come to university: credit hour, revision period, VW. What are all these things? The guide's going to help explain those. And there's going to be lots of good information there to help you determine your course schedule, how to register for your courses. And then there's also going to be outlines if you're targeting a specific major, but the first year courses to take, and these will be based on a full course load, which 4 course load being 5 courses a term in the fall and the winter. We recommend a lot of students take 3 or 4 courses in their first term because a full course load isn't necessarily the best for every student. And then, so how to decide which courses are more important to make sure that you get done everything that you need to do in your first year. So let's take a look at one of the program grids for one of our programs. So I have up here on the screen the program grid for a student targeting a 4-year major or honors degree in genetics. And the first year courses they're going to take are biology 1 and 2. There's the 3 chemistry courses there that are required. The next one we see there is Math 1500, Introduction to Calculus, and then it says OR, and it kind of goes down in descending steps. So students would have to pick one of those calculus courses. They don't need to take all 4 of them. Similar to the next 2 statistics courses you see there, the student will pick one of them. And then in addition to those other math courses, students choose one of the many math courses below written there. And then more for your choosing, a Faculty of Arts course and written course, and electives. So if a student is targeting to get into genetics, after year 1, want to look at the required courses for entry and where you can trim with that. So where would we find the entrance requirements for a major honors program like genetics? Well, that would be in the academic calendar, which is the rule book for all the programs at the U of M, including the Faculty of Science programs. So if we navigated to the genetics major in the academic calendar under the Faculty of Science, it's going to tell us there the entrance requirements for the program. So it says there a student requires 24 credit hours. So a course is 3 credit hours a term. So that'd be 8 courses with a minimum degree GPA of 2, which is a C. And also that they need to have gotten at least a C+ in the second biology course, commonly referred to as Biology 1030. And also in the second lecture chemistry course, commonly referred to as Chem 1110. It mentions the other courses, 4 courses that are recommended to take in the first year, but aren't required for entry. So if a student took 4 courses a term in the fall and in the winter, they wouldn't have to take a full course load of 5 courses a term, and they could still declare into genetics at the end of their program. And based on this guide, you can then go back and look at the grid and see which courses you could take later, maybe in your second year. An example would be one of the electives or arts requirements or W course could be a good idea to take in your second year, and that way you have more time to concentrate on the courses that you need to declare into your program. You know, those program grids based on a full course load, 5 courses a term, so students can graduate in exactly 4 years. We find the average time to completion in our faculty is 5 years. Most students don't take that 5 courses a term, you know, each year and graduate right on time. Other reasons students take longer, they decide on a different path. We talked about how the average student changes their mind 3 times in their career, or, you know, if a course needs to be repeated to get, you know, those. For example, if a student only had a C in Biology 1030 and was targeting genetics, then they'd have to retake that course. And sometimes students just take extra courses of interest, and you know, can lead to a longer time studying. So when you log into Aurora, you're going to find something that says Access Aurora Classic. Kind of reminds me of Coca-Cola Classic. And this is what you're going to use to look up class offerings, which are available now. You can go look that up and see the course sections, times for the fall and the winter courses, and also the locations of your courses. It'll also tie into the academic calendar if you're looking for the prereqs. And you know, this is your first year, so you're going to have a registration access time before anyone else. So I encourage you to take advantage of that, so that you register, you know, as soon as you can and get the exact lecture and lab times that you want. And you're going to be registering for both the fall and the winter term at the same time. So I would never recommend a student wait until after the fall term to register for the winter term. You want to do it right away to make sure you get space in those courses, and again, the times that you want. And you know, for direct entry, all of your high school prerequisites should be you know, automatically loaded, but you'll want to go in and just double check that they're there, because they might be needed for prerequisites for courses that you're targeting, for biology, chemistry, math, physics. Just make sure they're all there. So let's take a look at one of the tools in the first year planning guide to help plan your courses in your schedule. So first, courses are going to be offered sometimes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We see they're in 50-minute slots. And then on Tuesday and Thursday, because they're offered only 2 times a week instead of 3, they're 75 minutes long. And T is for Tuesday, R is what the U of M uses for Thursday when you're registering your courses. And then there could be lab sections associated with many of your courses, and they could be anywhere from 50 minutes long to 3 hours long, depending on the course. For lectures and labs, if it's a course like that, you need to register for them at the same time. Most courses are going to be in one of the two terms, either fall or winter, but there could be some full year courses that are 6 credit hours, and then they go in both terms. An example of that would be psychology, introduction to psychology. And some considerations you want to keep in mind when you're planning your schedule is, do you want back-to-back classes? How far away are the buildings from each other? And in general, you can walk to, any building, any class, in the 10 minutes you have between, but some students like to have more of a break in between. Also, if you want to have that mental break or study break is something to consider. So let's take a look at, what this might look like once you've picked your ideal lecture sections and lab sections. So this is again students targeting genetics, and we can see where they've planned for the fall. They fitted in biology 1020, the introductory biology, including the lecture sections, and a lab section, a physics course, including a lab, a math course, including a lab, and then Psych 1200, that's intro psych that I mentioned is going to go the full year, and the religion course. And when in planning a guide like this, you're going to want to do some backups. So you might want to have 2 or 3 and pick some other lecture sections, lab sections, in case that the first ones you're going for are full. And this should be ready to go for registration time, so that if you don't get into your first section right away, you can be registering in the next one. And a great tool at the U of M to keep track of your degree is something called U of M Achieve. You can run what-if audits to see, multiple different programs, to see the courses that you've taken and that you plan to take and how they fit in. And then once you're in a declared program, just to keep track of that degree as you move along. It's also what we as advisors use for our grad checks. So if this is complete, then you'll know you'll be able to graduate. There's tutorial videos available, on the login screen before the first time you do one, and soon we got some more tutorial videos coming specific for Faculty of Science audits. When looking at these audits, it's important to check every section of the audit carefully, so you know exactly which courses you still have to complete. All the information from the U of M Achieve audit comes directly from the academic calendar, which again will show you the entire degree of the courses you need. But the audits is a cleaner way of looking at it, and an easy way to check off what you've taken and to see if what you're enrolled in is going to go towards your targeted program or your declared program. So after looking at planning a timetable, you might be realizing that time management is going to be very important to your success at the U of M. Courses and lecture hours might seem short at first in comparison to something like high school, but you should expect to spend about 2 hours independent study for every hour of instruction. So if you're taking 4 courses a term, this is over 30 hours a week. So it's really like a full-time job, being a full-time student. And some other things you're going to want to take into consideration when, building your schedule and also building in study times is going to be your lifestyle. Do you have other work commitments, family commitments? You're going to want to build in there some time for rest and recreation. And some other things to consider: do you have a scholarship, or you're targeting a scholarship? Most scholarships are going to require a minimum of 24 credit hours to keep that scholarship, so that'd be, again, 4 courses a term. And if you have a student loan, it's usually 18 credit hours or 3 courses a term as a minimum that they require. So this leads into the topic of self-care. which is an important part of academic success. Because we need to be physically and mentally fit in order to concentrate on our studies. So think about how you cope, the things that have helped you in the past. Sometimes our bodies have a way of telling us, when we've taken on too much. Sounds cliche, but exercise and eating well is very important. As part of your tuition, you've already paid for the active living center, so I encourage all students to make use of that. And also socialization is a good part of staying mentally fit. It's also important to balance studies and social activities. We see students on both sides of that pendulum that might be partying too much, not focusing on their academics. On the other hand, if a student spends every hour of the day focused just on studying academics, that's also can be a recipe for poor mental health, and despite all the studying can lead to poorer grades. So it's important to recognize our needs, know your limits, make sure you get lots of sleep as well, especially before exams. Make a study schedule and study through the terms so you're not pulling all-nighters. And if you're finding that you're struggling, then it's important to seek out help. As advisors, we often find that the successful students have gotten involved in something outside of just the classroom. As well, employers and professional programs are often looking for a variety of experiences from the students that they accept or take on. There's departmental groups, which we'll look at a little more on another slide. And then as well as UMSU student groups are a great way to find other students with similar interests. There's over 150 of them. Some examples would be social justice, politics, spirituality, different cultural groups, environmentalism, swing dance, different sports and recs, including intramurals, chess. So chances are there's a group that's going to fit at least one of your interests. And then there's also lots of volunteer opportunities available, like Science Rendezvous, Let's Talk Science, which is the picture you see there. It's introducing science, to the next generation. So similar to like a student council in high school, the Faculty of Science has the Science Students Association, and they work closely with the U of M Students Union and UMSU, and they plan lots of activities throughout the year and also provide services such as locker rentals, lab coats. They run a student lounge, which is a good place to just go and hang out with other students and have that study break. And they also run, some scholarships and their own tutoring program, which we'll look at a bit more on another slide. These are the departmental groups that I mentioned earlier. So there's one for each of the 7 departments. And in addition to these, there's other groups that can be related to different science programs as well as professional programs. There's a medicine group. There's we see there's the Computer Science Student Association, that's the CSSA, but there's also Women in Computer Science, Dev Club. So there's lots of opportunities for you to get involved in your faculty. So each letter grade at the U of M corresponds to a number. So we have on there a C is a 2, a D would be a 1, a B a 3, and A a 4. And then the pluses, A plus would be 4.5. And these grades do matter, and we assess them at the end of each term. And the minimum standard is a C. So if a student's overall GPA dips below 2, then you'll hear from an advisor. It's important to know your standing in your courses at all time, and write all your tests, do all your assignments, maintain academic integrity. What that means is not cheating. We do have full-time staff dedicated, unfortunately, to managing students who do get caught cheating. It is something that happens. and you know, there's some severe penalties that can come with that. It's a better idea to ask for help when you need it, and we're going to take a look at some places where you can go ask for help, and also to keep in mind something called the voluntary withdrawal date. It's a last chance to drop a course and not receive a grade in it if things aren't going so well, so that your overall GPA isn't negatively impacted. So let's take a look at the different academic supports that are available. My favorite place to refer students is the Academic Learning Center, because it's a hub for a lot of different things. First, they have some workshops and tutors for study skills. These are focused on how to be a successful university student. They're not course specific, but how to be a successful student overall. The workshops are run throughout the fall term and the winter term, so you might want to take a look at those and think about attending a few of them. They have different topics. Then they also have free content tutors that you can access up to twice a week. These would be specific to a course, and many first-year science courses, as well as some of the upper-level courses, they're going to have free content tutors for those courses. There's also tutors specifically for writing. Every degree at the U of M requires a W course, that means written, where you have to write essays. And those tutors and workshops are specifically for when you're going to have to do that course. And if maybe writing essays isn't your number one strength. And then there's also something called supplementary instruction for a few courses. An example would be the Introductory Chemistry course, Chem 1100, and these are extra sessions offered throughout the term that the course is being offered. Your student can ask more questions and get follow-up instruction at the specific topics that are going to be taught that week. There's also free content tutors available with the Science Student Association, or we have abbreviated there SSA. They run their own tutoring program separate from the Academic Learning Center. All of their tutors are Faculty of Science students and who have gotten at least an A in the course that they're tutoring. And you know, maybe in your second or third year, you might want to consider being a tutor. There's also the Science Help Centers. This will be something like the Math Help Center and the Statistics Help Center, where you can drop in at any of their hours. They're usually open 5 to 6 days a week, and you don't need to make an appointment, and you can get help with any math or statistics course. There's also for physics through OPUS, and also for first year computer science courses, there's a Computer Science Help Center. You can also find all these help centers listed on the Academic Learning Center homepage. Librarians are a good resource to go to when you need to do any research and not sure how to find things in the libraries. And chatting with your professors on their office hours if you're having trouble understanding the content and you know, need to ask some specific questions or want some other pointers on where to get more help, as well if there's a TA in your class, going to them for that extra section or extra assistance can be a good idea. And when you need, you know, to chat with someone about your program, that's when you want to talk with an academic advisor like myself, or one of the other many advisors on our team. You can see most of us in the picture there. We can help with, you know, looking at the different programs within the Faculty of Science, or if you're targeting a professional program after, looking at you know, see if the courses that you're taking, the progress that you're making is helping you work towards that. Maybe if you don't know what you want to do and you want to discuss a few different options with someone, or if you're just, you know, facing some struggles or difficulties and, you know, need some help repointing that compass are also there in those situations. We have in-person appointments. You can call our office for quicker questions. We also do virtual appointments. You can book an appointment by going to the Faculty of Science website that you see on the screen there and looking for the blue button for Science Academic Advising. If you do book an appointment with us, you're going to be using an app called Waitwell, and it's used with our office, but also many other faculties and offices on campus. So you might want to consider downloading the app. You could also access the program via the web if you don't want to download the app on your phone. And it uses a queue system, kind of putting students in order. We can also transfer you to another office if you're seeing us and maybe the conversation needs to continue with the registrar's office or perhaps another faculty. Something we mentioned at the beginning of this program was Science Co-op, which is a chance to integrate your learning with full-time paid work experience. It is an additional thing that you need to apply for, and what's different from our majors and honors programs I'd mentioned is there's no cap on the students for those. With co-op there is a cap. It depends on the number of positions that they have, so students need to apply, and so there's a competition which would include a job interview. They're going to look at grades, resume, and if you get accepted, then you get that work experience, which looks great on a resume, and some students then go on to work for one of the employers that they've done a co-op term with. Also gets the chance to network in the industry. Maybe you're going to go on to another employer. Almost all of our programs in science do have a co-op option. Some exceptions to that would be actuarial, and if you're going to do a honors in psychology. If you're interested in co-op has information sessions various times through the year. Usually there's a big one in either January or February, and students apply at either in the middle or end of the winter term, so intake is once a year. And then new coming up for fall 2024 is for students in our general degree program, it's an internship program, to connect with an employer. And in the pictures there, we have some students that have been in co-op that have worked with Google in California, Triumph in BC, and Belmonte in Winnipeg. Most of the placements are in Winnipeg, but there's also some placements, as we can see, abroad in other locations. And some further ways to start connecting learning with future careers is to visit with Consultants in Career Services. And they're there for all students, regardless if they're at the end or middle of their program or even just starting out, because they can help explore your interests, your values, your strengths, your personality, and kind of relate it to the different careers, and then work backwards to then see what's the best major program at the U of M to target. They can also assist in career planning or job searches while you're in school. They also run a mentorship program, which is a program if you have a specific interest in your field, getting set up with someone in that field that you would meet with on a regular basis. So you can ask them questions about getting into that field, courses that you're taking. They also run something called UM Connect, which is used to apply for jobs on campus, also to book appointments with them. So for our direct entry students to the Faculty of Science, you are automatically considered for an entrance scholarship upon admission with the minimum average grades of 85% on those high school courses. If you do receive a scholarship, it's usually an 80% course load that you need to maintain in the fall and the winter, so 4 courses a term. There's also bursaries that different from scholarships, that they're not determined on grades, but rather on financial need. And bursaries require a 60% course load, or 3 courses a term in the fall and the winter. And for students with added financial need, there's also government student loans and the work-study program. All the information for these different scholarships, loans, bursaries, have an office at the U of M that runs these and that you'd want to talk to, called Financial Aid and Awards. And there's also the U of M Food Bank, which we've really seen an increase need of students, which is definitely all right. The important thing is that if you need that you reach out to that resource. And if you're in a position where you don't need that, consider donating as well. So some other supports on campus. The first one here, the First Year Center, they create and put out the first year planning guide that we mentioned and run their own sessions. As a first year student, you can also meet with their advisors in addition to the Faculty of Science advisors. And there's a lot of different other supports we have listed here. They might not all apply to you, but there's probably something that does. University Health Services have doctors available for all students, because it can be very hard sometimes to find a family doctor if you don't have one. So, if you don't have one, there's one here for you once you're a student. The UM Safe app is a great app that you can use for the Safe Walk program. If you have a later class and want someone to walk you to your car. And there's other features on there in terms of reporting an emergency, getting information about an emergency if it happens. The Student Counseling Center is your go-to place if you're having any mental health struggles, and they run both one-on-one counseling and student groups under a number of different topics. And finally, at the end of our presentation, I just want to encourage you to follow the Faculty of Science on our social media. We put out lots of information through the year of different events that are coming up, information sessions that might be something you're targeting, or maybe that you weren't aware of, and then you find out about it that way. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, and on X, formerly known as Twitter. And this brings us to the end of our presentation. So we're looking forward to seeing you in September, or if you're a student coming in the winter, then seeing you in the winter. And all the best and good luck.